This is 17th March.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, I think the President Sims is a good point for us to attack, but I think the state of Jefferson, those counties may be a good coordination to use to go there. I would not support 60,000 to have a special election. I am extremely concerned about the financial ability of this state of Jefferson. I do not trust these numbers that were given to us. I don't think they're accurate at all. There is no doubt in my mind that all the poor counties are getting together to form a state. As much as they hate Southern California, the coast, that's where the money comes from. And a lot of money that we use here in Lassen County, it comes from the federal government, which this will not change. The federal taxes will not change. The federal regulations, the law of the state and federal forest will not change. A lot of what you people talked about today would be different in the state of Jefferson. It will not be. And a lot of what you talked about will be different. But I would hate to support a cause and find out that we have no money, 5 years down the road or 10 years whenever we get there. Because there is not a lot of money in these counties. Very little. And maybe we can, and Jim brought up another good point, the infrastructure of what we had, our industry, the logging and all that, has been destroyed. We're not going to put it back together overnight. So there's going to be a period of time there. There's going to be a lot of people in pain. People that like government services, and I've heard a couple complain about paying taxes and not getting this. I strongly believe in the state of Jefferson you're going to get way less from the government services than you are getting today. And then people are going to be against this. I mean, the state of Jefferson is going to be a very conservative state, and it's not going to work. How you people show up. So that people that rely on federal and state, health and social services are going to get way less. No doubt in my mind. So, we have a few more questions here. It's getting late. I don't want to cut anybody off. If you have an important question, we'll try to answer it. Is there somebody in the back here that had a question?
Mark,
Yes, Mark?
I just wanted to address one thing about the language, and when you address the Reynolds versus Sims, we don't want to be too narrow and say that we want to overturn it, but it is perhaps true that we can either set that aside or say that the court chose the wrong remedy. In other words, instead of fixing representation when population grows and grows and grows, the remedy they could have chosen was to expand representation so that every county had some. So there are two ways to go with Reynolds versus Sims, but it is the way to go. And we understand that it's possible we're going to be ignored at the state level. We're not children here. But what we can do with the declaration is create the harm in that being ignored that adds to that standing so that we have the perfect case going forward, because if we are ignored, that demonstrates the lack of representation in our legal opinions. So Reynolds versus Sims is the target. And there are several ways to attack that. One is individually, one is collectively, and one is as a class. So we have all of those three angles that we're writing our lawsuits to address. But Reynolds versus Sims is the key. If we have the federal model of government here, we have representation. That's the change. Whether we get the new state, which I think we will, history will say whether I'm right or wrong. But representation is the change we need, no matter how we get there. So that's the Reynolds versus Sims aspect. We want to leave ourselves an opening so that we can truly attack that case in whatever method works the best for getting that representation addressed. Does that make sense to you, sir?
And I look forward to working with you on that specific issues.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if there's no more comments, I think we're going to vote on this. And I know Ms. Supervisor Hammond would like to be involved in the final vote. So keep it moving, but give him a chance also. I do. Yes, sir.
I just had a comment. You said you covered that money comes from the state of California. The state of California, I would